The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Transport and Infrastructure.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. As I begin, I note that the previous speaker from the Liberal side stated that he's happy to continue to pay taxes in order to live in the best country in the world. He provoked enthusiastic applause from his opposition colleagues, which indicates to Canadians that those members on the other side believe that what makes this country the best in the world is taxes. We here understand that, in fact, it is not taxation, but in fact it is the hard work of workers, small businesses, entrepreneurs, and the Canadian people that make us the best country in the world. But they've illustrated the clear difference between the two sides of the House of Commons, and I dedicate part of this speech to those on the other side who believe, for example, that the solution to the debt crisis in Europe is to add more debt in Canada, who think that we can create jobs by taxing those who hire, who say that the individual cannot be trusted with his own money, but a collection of individuals can be trusted with the money of others. Those people on the other side say that the individual is too flawed to make his own decisions, but that those same flawed individuals, when they combine their flaws in the collective, can make decisions for everyone else. We on this side understand that it is the basic tenets of freedom, as laid out, for example, in the Bill of Rights of the Right Honourable Prime Minister Diefenbaker. Those freedoms are what make Canada great. Freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of association, and also freedom of enterprise and freedom of trade. On the subject of trade, I'm just going to share a little bit of an excerpt from one of the finest economists of the last century, Milton Friedman. Look at this pencil. There's not a single person in the world who can make this pencil. Remarkable statement? Not at all. The wood from which it's made, for all I know, comes from a tree that was cut down in the state of Washington. To cut that tree, it took a saw. To make the saw, it took steel. To make the steel, it took iron ore. The black center, we call it lead, but it's likely compressed graphite. I'm not sure where it comes from, but I think that it comes from somewhere in South America. The red top here, the eraser, a bit of rubber, probably comes from Malaysia, where the rubber tree isn't even native. It was imported from South America by some businessman with the help of the British government. This brass ferrule, I haven't the slightest idea where it came from, or the yellow paint, or the paint that made the lines black, or the glue that holds it all together. Literally thousands of people cooperated to make this pencil. People who don't speak the same language, who practice different religions, who might hate one another if they actually met. When you go down to the store and buy this pencil, you are in effect trading a few minutes of your time for a few seconds of the time of all of those thousands of people. What brought them together to induce them to cooperate to create this pencil? There was no commissaire sending out orders from a central office. It was the magic of the price system, the impersonal operation of prices that brought them together and got them to cooperate to make this pencil so that we could have it today for this trifling sum. That is why the operation of the free market is so essential, not only to promote productive efficiency, but even more to foster harmony and peace amongst the peoples of the world. That's where we disagree with our opposition colleagues who believe that they can control the economy from the center. They can issue dictates out to people far and wide, tell them how to run their lives and how to run their family budgets. Our government on this side has expanded on that international enterprise by bringing in free trade agreements with Panama, Jordan, Colombia, Peru, Iceland, Liechtenstein, Norway, Switzerland. We're working on a trade agreement with the greatest market, the largest market in the world, the European Union, the second most populous country on earth, India. This will allow us to expand the prosperity, creating new markets for our businesses and new products available to our consumers at lower prices. All of these measures opposed by our official opposition who would build a wall around Canada's system of enterprise. Mr. Speaker, this is an opposition that speaks often about the pensions of, for example, unionized workers, and I give them credit because we should all be concerned of that subject. Defined benefit pension plans are under pressure, so what to do? Well, some say scale back the entitlements, others say increase the employer contribution. Neither of these options are very favorable, but there's a third option, and that is to lower business taxes. Virtually every defined benefit plan in the country owns shares in the country's largest and most profitable enterprises. If these businesses make good after-tax money, they can pay better dividends to the pension funds that own their shares. Take the Canada Post pension plan for the mail deliverers. During the recent debate over their strike, members of the NDP simultaneously demanded that the existing pension plan be bolstered, while proposing to increase business taxes on the holdings in that very same pension fund. The irony of the two demands is as follows. The top 5 holdings of the Canada Post pension plan are the Toronto Dominion Bank, Royal Bank of Canada, Bank of Nova Scotia, Suncor, Canadian Natural Resources. Banks and oil companies, the two twin villains in every left-wing storyline. These are the same enterprises that pay dividends directly to the unionized workers who deliver our mail through Canada Post. These dividends come from after-tax profits. If the business tax raises, the after-tax profits remaining to the pension fund drops. The Canada Post fund has $202 million invested in Toronto Dominion Bank, roughly as of a couple of weeks ago when I checked, and that was the market value of those holdings. When TD profits, it reinvests the money in the growth of the company, or it pays dividends to the shareholders. Either way, the pension funds and the pensioners therefore benefit. So when we lower taxes for entrepreneurs and for businesses, large and small, the beneficiaries in many instances are pensioners, people who are part of defined benefit plans. Businesses are comprised of people. That's something that the NDP, the official opposition, refuses to acknowledge. They are employees, shareholders, and consumers. So when the NDP proposes to raise taxes on those businesses, it must choose on whom it would raise those taxes. On the shareholders, like pensioners, the consumers, through higher prices, or the workers, through cut wages or lost jobs. Because one of those 3 consequences, or a combination of them, will surely result when you increase taxes on the nation's enterprises. The reason why the Forbes magazine recently said Canada is the best place to do business is because we are removing the obstacles to success in over-regulation, over-taxation, so that enterprises can hire and create more opportunity for Canadians. You know, the old utopian dream was for workers to become owners of the means of production through a process of forced collectivization. In an ironic twist of fate, it was the capitalistic stock market and not the state that transformed workers into business owners. It was inventions like the RRSP and now the tax-free savings account, or defined benefit pension plans which hold equities, that have allowed everyday blue-collar workers who only a half-century ago would have never considered share ownership to even be a distant dream, to now become owners of businesses. The workers are the owners, because in this system of free enterprise that has made our country so strong and made us succeed so vastly, even in this difficult economic time, we have unleashed the ability of workers to achieve the maximum opportunity for themselves and their families, to lift themselves up and to succeed in this country. And so, Mr. Speaker, in order for us to hold these beliefs and realize these successes, we must continue to have faith in the individual Canadian who works hard every day to provide for his or her family, to share the blessings of this land with their neighbors and their loved ones, and to do so without the shackles of the government holding them down and blocking their success. And I am very proud that the people of Nepean Carleton elected me to carry on this great Canadian tradition of freedom, free enterprise, and free trade. Thank you very much.